Happy Friday, everybody. Happy Friday. I would like to kick off this video by stating the obvious, but it always needs to be said. Everything in this video is alleged, but also from a respectful perspective, everything I'm about to state or allude to in this video, I am not stating as a fact. I am not stating as an absolute. But instead, this is for investigative, journalistic purposes only, if you will. But this is a rabbit hole we need to explore. And it didn't dawn on me that a name that came up during the investigation is literally someone that we've covered quite a while ago in the modeling world. We covered this person last summer. And I was like, I don't know how that slipped past me. So I'm super excited to cover that. But there's something I want to show you all first. This right here just happened and blew my mind. This is Ben Shapiro on the Daily Wire, not even an hour and a half ago. Listen to this exchange.
So if Candace Owens decides to slander the widow of Charlie Kirk, I think that people have a moral duty to say that this is a bad thing, even if they are quote unquote friends with those people. And I find it
but let's take that further. So obviously one should state one's view and say, you know, Erica's great and attacks on her are not right.
Well, Michael, I'll just ask you straight up. Is Candace Owens doing something evil by attacking Erica Kirk?
I think that it's wrong to attack Erica Kirk.
No, say the sentence with her name in it.
I'm not going to dance like a puppet for the podcast wars.
You don't have to dance like a puppet, but you are dancing pretty quickly. I mean, there's a lot of tap dancing.
I don't think there's any tap dancing.
Even if you aren't interested in the podcast wars, the podcast
and I think the people who are leading the invective against Candace are her biggest publicists.
So if Candace Owens decides to slander the widow of Charlie Kirk, I think that people...
I think what we just witnessed there was Ben Shapiro pretending as if he was joking. He was 100% serious. And he was 100% offended that Michael Knowles would not 100% condemn Candace, which Michael's answer is such a pathetic answer because he has no backbone. Right, a person like that will not be able to have a real conversation with you about this investigation because too many red flags will come up and they would just be exposed. So they have to just stick with the talking points of attacking Erica is evil, but they won't tell you specifically. They won't actually entertain the very things that are being questioned about Erica Kirk. But I digress because we have way too many things to talk about in this video. So with that, I actually have a timeline. So the Erica Kirk, Jeffrey Epstein connection is something that we started to entertain. Let me come over here to the channel so I can make sure that I get this right. We started to entertain this. I'm pretty sure, was it 2 weeks ago? Let's see. I believe for the first time, I'm looking here. The first time we entertained it, matter of fact, it'll probably be easier if I just did it this way. The first time we entertained it was... boom, Erica's crazy connection to Epstein was 3 weeks ago. Whoa. Okay. Man, time is flying. So it was 3 weeks ago. And so, wow, really? Dang it, I thought I did not know it was that it's been that much time. And then we entertained it again here, which was 2 weeks ago, which is the video I'm thinking about here. That was since the documentary dropped. So far more information has come out now, and it's a bit frustrating because I don't really know what's going on with my channel. I've been saying it for a while, but I just got to keep pushing through it. Weird things are just going on with my channel, but whatever. But the purpose of making these videos is to reach people, right? Is to get the information out, especially as it pertains to this investigation. And if you put out a video and something weird happens with the video and it flukes and nobody gets to see the video, then it's almost like talking to yourself, you know, because the point is to share information so we can sort of build this case, which is what the internet has been doing since we all feel like the FBI hasn't been doing so. But I digress. I wanted to set the stage. Let me go to the clip. I want to set the stage of this video with an interview that Tucker Carlson just had. And there's a clip. And I want you all to take a listen to what this gentleman has just said, what the gentleman said to Tucker Carlson. And of course, you're about to hear all things that we've already said for the most part or alluded to. But it's different when you hear it on Tucker Carlson's platform because he has a much greater, larger following. So more eyes and more people are aware. So let's listen to what they said here.
I feel, and I cannot say for sure, but I feel that something was watching and it felt the clock ticking and its opportunity to finally bring about this war, which I think Netanyahu said he's been dreaming of for 40 years.
He did say that.
So something wanted this war to happen, and there was the perception that the opportunity, the window was closing, so it had to be brought about quickly. Given how public Charlie was on this topic, I can't help but wonder. Now, obviously, that will sound crazy to many people.
No, it won't.
That something would have even considered such a thing. But I will say that after Charlie was killed, Benjamin Netanyahu very quickly denied responsibility for it. I was shocked by this. It did not seem natural. Now, I'm not saying that that means that anything in that quadrant was responsible for the murder. All I know is that we didn't get a decent investigation. But I did feel, and maybe I hope you will tell me that I'm imagining this. I did feel that denial by Netanyahu was effectively a Rorschach test and maybe designed to be one. That I was supposed to feel alarmed by this, and a normal person was supposed to think that is batshit crazy. He said they didn't do it. Obviously, they didn't do it. So anyway, I'm not telling you that I see the evidence that somebody did it, but what I am telling you is we've just found ourselves in a war that Charlie would have been opposed to. We know that from his public and private statements, and that he would have been a formidable force in opposition. So what am I to think? Why? At least we should have an investigation that tells us for sure that we know who committed the crime and that there wasn't something larger about it. But look, now I've said unforgivable things. It's done.
I don't know why that's unforgivable. I mean, this is an American citizen, someone you knew, and you're not accusing anyone of anything. And I do think, leaving aside Charlie's murder and, the question of who did it, for a foreign leader to weigh in immediately and hog all the attention and make it all about himself and start issuing all these statements about how Charlie lived and died for Israel is totally unforgivable. I say this as his friend. I just think if someone did that to me after my death, I think my family would be outraged. It's not about you, right, BB? So that was disgusting behavior from someone with a track record of disgusting behavior. But at the very least, we could say that's just wrong. That's not how you behave in the wake of a young man's murder. And I'm never alleged. I don't even talk about this topic, and I'm not going to now, other than to say, I think everything you've said is entirely reasonable, and it's not an insult to the living. Well, to want to know what happened to the dead.
Yeah, but is it just me? But the way that they talk about this, like the way Tucker just talked about Charlie, was weird to me. It's almost like this isn't real life or something. They're talking about Charlie as if he was a pet or something. Like I'm so confused. I didn't get the impression during this conversation specifically from Tucker, and I have noticed that Tucker has not really talked about this very much at all, which is very strange when he tends to entertain all these different conspiracies, including 9/11. It's just so strange that this is the one he he rarely ever talks about. And I don't know. That was very strange. But to respond to the other gentleman's claims, anybody that thinks it's odd that you noticed that Bibi Netanyahu and Ben Shapiro, for this matter, I'm going to lump them in together, were two of the first people to speak on Charlie, with Ben Shapiro stating that he's going to pick up Charlie's bloody microphone and continue his legacy when, according to multiple people, including Candace, Charlie didn't like Ben Shapiro. They didn't get along. Ben Shapiro tried to ruin Charlie's career. Ben was allegedly jealous of Charlie Kirk. Yet now all of a sudden he's going out of his way to defend Erica with every chance that he gets, which leaves me with the impression that I'm just going to say something out loud that I have a reason to believe, not stating it as a fact. I believe that Ben Shapiro is a part of a larger network of people, and I believe Ben Shapiro has a lot of power, and that's why a lot of people have to tolerate him, like a Megyn Kelly and a Piers Morgan, when they could just ignore the guy. But instead, they have to do this public back and forth with him, right? That leads me to believe that whatever it is that we believe why Charlie was potentially taken out, why it was time for Charlie to maybe fake whatever may have happened that day, whatever was happening behind the scenes, Ben Shapiro, I think, was playing a role in it. I think Josh Hammer has his role in it, right? I do believe that. And by role, I mean the pressure that was being placed on Charlie. Because if Charlie and Ben Shapiro did not get along, I don't know why they would even do interviews together unless Charlie Kirk had to, unless he felt obligated to do so, right? Because people could easily just ignore or shut down Ben Shapiro, but that's not what you're seeing. Instead, people are tolerating him. People are noticing these things about him, but nobody's shutting them down. I think that there's a reason for that, right? I think Ben Shapiro comes from money, and I think he's a part of a larger group of people that has the power to not only excommunicate people and ruin people's lives financially or professionally, but ruin their lives quite literally, right? If you catch my drift. So I'm going to say that first, all right? Now, I played these clips in this manner first before we get into the modeling, the Erica Kirk and Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, my whole theory here. I'm going to show you something that you all may have seen already, and that will be the text messages that Candace Owens just revealed with her and Charlie Kirk, which is it only exposes Ben Shapiro more, because you notice Ben Shapiro won't touch these topics, right? Won't touch the things that Charlie Kirk was actually saying, but instead he's going to pretend like he wants to defend and survive Charlie Kirk. He wants to extend and save Charlie Kirk's legacy when Charlie Kirk wasn't rocking with him. Here's the first text. Charlie says, there are some verses in the Talmud that will blow your mind. This is allegedly him saying this to Candace. Candace responded simply with, I'm aware of them. He responds, the Talmud is not biblical, but it's their rabbinical interpretations of Judaism. Right? And he does the emoji. She responds, I did a deep dive 1 week. He said, thought crime. She said, yep. Then it goes on and he says, listening, amazing. Your show rocks, by the way. Thank you. The defense on the Twitter today. The Jews were very angry at me again today. Go figure. Wow. Charlie said this. Charlie Kirk, of all people, said this. She responded, their expectation is that you defend them, but they are silent if anything happens to Christians. He responded, it's sick. She responded, and they expect you to be silent if anything happens to Christians. So horrible. He responded, I'm over it. The amount of text I got, again, over that tweet was honestly beyond belief. I even tweeted with all disclaimers. She said, it's why I don't use my platform to defend them. When I realized it was one-sided and how vicious they would get if I didn't do their bidding, I was just done with it. They should read How to Win Friends and Influence People. All right. That's absolutely mind-blowing. That's mind-blowing because I never heard Charlie talk like that. So, yeah. What did I want to say here? Something just came to my mind and I freaking forgot. Shoot. Oh, yeah, that's what it is. Also, before we get into this, hit the like button. Before we get into this, I want to say I saw a clip on Twitter, on X, that I can't show on YouTube of this person breaking down Charlie Kirk being carried from behind the table. And this is a never before seen, as far as I'm concerned. I haven't seen anybody cover this. And this person is pausing the camera and zooming in, and it almost looks like Charlie is wearing something under his shirt. Based on, it looks like the color of skin, right? His shirt raises up, but it looks like Charlie, he bumped into the leg of, I believe, one of the security guard guys, one of the bodyguards. But when he bumps into him, it looks like his hip does some weird contortion that is not consistent with how a human body love handle hip area should contort, almost as if it was rubber. I have to show you all this, so I'm going to try to find some time over the weekend to react to this video, and I'm going to have to put it on Patreon for obvious reasons. YouTube is not going to let me do it. But this video looked like a real video to me. And it doesn't look like Charlie. Something was off with it. And it wasn't the only thing that was off with the video. Outside of the fact that they literally ran right past EMS. I know you all already know that. That right there should tell everybody what they should know. If the number one goal is to save this person's life, if the number one goal and the number one belief here is to believe that some lone shooter did this and everybody's caught off guard, number one, why is no one speaking to each other? Number two, you have EMS right there. Why don't you have them to help you? Why is it the only people that was behind that table were TPUSA affiliated individuals? Why is that? I'm going to leave that there. AI can create real looking videos. I'm aware. All right. And then the last thing I want to do to set the stage here is I'm going to read a tweet from, shout out to Sam Parker, because this was spot on. And then we're going to transition into Miss Erika Kirk. All righty. So let's make this a little bit bigger. Boom. Let's read what Sam Parker said, because this will be a perfect way to transition into the topic. He says, what sort of black magic sorcery was Tyler Robinson into? Consider. Charlie hated Ben Shapiro. Now TPUSA. Let me bring this a little closer. Okay, I guess not. Charlie hated Ben Shapiro. Now TPUSA defends Ben Shapiro, lets him host the Charlie Kirk show, and lets Ben kick off M-Fest. 2, Charlie loved Thomas Massey and said Massey was one of his favorite congressmen. Now TPUSA attacks Thomas Massey. Charlie said Nicki Minaj was a bad role model. Now Erica Kirk unironically interviews her on stage at M-Fest as a role model. Charlie admitted Epstein may have worked for Israeli intelligence and urged the Trump administration to release the files. Erica Kirk has remained completely silent on the Epstein files, while several close connections between her and Epstein have come to light. Stick a pin in it. We'll come back to that one. Charlie was outspoken and explicitly against expanded regime change war in Iran on numerous occasions. Now TPUSA says he'd support this expanded regime change in Iran. Charlie quietly went to the White House to plead with Trump to stop the escalation of the war against Iran. Now TPUSA secretly goes to the White House the day before the Epstein files are released and puts out a Charlie Kirk show episode meant to trick everyone into thinking they were still in Arizona and not in secret meetings at the White House. We're going to get to that one as well. Charlie was planning a run for governor of Arizona. Now TPUSA says that Charlie thought Erica was going to be president. Charlie praised Erica's role as a mother and encouraged men to, quote, do whatever it takes to enable their wives to stay home, like he was doing. Now Erica is running TPUSA, going on speaking tours, and getting anointed to the board of the Air Force Academy, despite massive amounts of money and resources at her disposal to help her not have to work while she raises her kids. Charlie turned down the $150 million from Netanyahu and proclaimed he was dropping the pro-Israel cause. Now TPUSA has re-embraced the pro-Israel cause. Erica does interviews with Israeli operative Barry Weiss, and TPUSA magically raised $250 million in the wake of Charlie's death, while denying Charlie never received the $150 million offer. Charlie called for an extra Doge-style audit or effort examination of TPUSA beyond the normal audit process. Now TPUSA has canceled the Doge effort. Charlie said never stop asking questions. Now TPUSA says stop asking questions. Forget Charlie's magic neck of steel. That was one heck of a magic bullet Tyler Robinson fired. Literally reversed the fabric of space, time, and reality. The shot heard round the cosmos. What a fantastic stroke of luck for that one foreign nation in this administration that Robinson just decided one day after Charlie texts multiple people they're going to unalive me to drive 300 miles across Utah on 1 week's notice to shove an invisible 110-year-old rifle down his skin-tight skinny jeans, walk onto a rooftop directly in front of Charlie without running into any security precautions whatsoever. Take one ice-cold shot with a 30-06 bullet that dozens of eyewitnesses said sounded like a firecracker. That barely left a mark in Charlie's soft neck flesh, which hasn't been reproduced in thousands of tries by hundreds of people, perfectly coinciding down to the second with a question about trans shootings. Immediately confess the entire plot via unsecured online messages or messaging to his gay trans furry roommate. Get away clean, except for oops, leaving the weapon behind with his DNA on it. And then voluntarily turn himself into authorities the very next day, exactly 33 hours later. But all the video surveillance of this coincidentally disappeared a few weeks after world-renowned and highly decorated cybercrime expert Saeed the Muslim was inexplicably and quietly removed from her post running the SLC FBI field office. Abracadabra. They're holding a memorial to Charlie Kirk when they should actually be building statues of Tyler Robinson. Yeah. That was necessary. Very necessary to set the stage. Now let's dig into some things. We know that there are many connections between Erica Kirk, Jeffrey Epstein. The connection that I made was in 2018, I believe in the month of October, Erica Kirk applied for the luxurious real estate agency Corcoran Group that is ran, or the CEO is Barbara Corcoran, or the creator is Barbara Corcoran. I believe one of the CEOs is a woman that goes by the name of Kathy Rothstein, which is the same last name as Erica Kirk's roommate, Rothstein. Kathy Rothstein, along with the other CEO, not only are mentioned the Epstein files multiple times, but they explicitly did business with Jeffrey Epstein immediately after, like a year after he was a convicted pedophile. They didn't care. They still did business with him, specifically surrounding NDAs regarding his New York property. We know this for a fact. This is in the Epstein files. So the CEO of a real estate agency that Erica Kirk is registered under, even though we can't find anywhere any properties that she sold, she's attached to this Corcoran Group. Well, let's make a couple of other connections. And we're going to start with the clip that Candace shared just the other day about Erica. Let's start with this clip first.
Behold, the very next day on January 30th, the Epstein files were released. And I thought, oh, how precise. Is it possible that the meeting was related to the Epstein files, which are heavily redacted and obviously not complete? And said to myself, well, Erica was heavily involved in the pageantry world, really her whole life. Trump was also heavily involved in the pageantry world. More specifically, Donald Trump was actually the 50% owner of Miss America alongside NBC Universal when Erica was crowned.
And that's not a coincidence, and you're about to see why that's not a coincidence. In today's live, we will be reacting to a snippet or a clip of a documentary that, once again, we covered last summer, where a model did a voiceover of the documentary, and she exposed a model that was literally there, that exposed what the modeling agency is actually about, from money laundering to the illegal transportation of human bodies, right? Abuse, all types of manipulation, right? Including the parents. But I'm getting ahead of myself.
And Trump and Epstein's relationship, to be sure, seemed to be centered around pageantry and the modeling world and parties. There was even a lawsuit that was filed back in 1997 over a pageant company wherein one of the guys had said that during a meeting for his company that Jeffrey Epstein was there, which is kind of like an honorable mention. So, yep. Okay, and Trump has never denied that he hung out with Epstein. He said, I never went to the island, but there are obviously photos. So that's interesting. And I want to make sure you understand what Jeffrey Epstein did, how he was trafficking. It's important to remember that Jeffrey Epstein was specifically trafficking women from Eastern Europe through modeling agencies, okay? So It's a great cover, whether he was working with Victoria's Secret, Les Wexner hands him the keys, and all of a sudden he's like a casting director looking at all of these models. Jean-Luc Brunell in Paris, his agency, MC2 Modeling, Jean-Luc Brunell kills himself. The media doesn't want to mention the fact that they also had offices in Tel Aviv. Jean-Luc Brunell did. And that's how he was accomplishing it, because when you see a lot of women at a modeling agency, you don't go, oh, maybe these women are being picked from Europe. Maybe these women are, not actually happy to be here. Maybe they're in some danger, right? It's like the illusion when there's just a lot of models in any event, whether it's a pageant, anything else, is that this is normal because it's just the world of fashion. Or
Jean-Luc Brunell, remember that name. Remember the name Jean-Luc Brunell. That's going to be very, very relevant for this video.
The world of beauty or the world of modeling. Okay. So Victoria's Secret he's doing casting for, And also, when you go through his emails, it seems like he's also hand-picking girls for certain pageants.
Yep.
And I've read through some of them. Like he had clearly a very strong relationship with the Miss North Carolina one year. I thought, okay, maybe still another coincidence, right? Erica's in pageant world, Trump's in pageant world, Epstein's in pageant world-ish. Then we took a week off to investigate Erika, and I was even more stunned by some more coincidences, and I'm going to run you through them here. Okay, so in 2010, we know Jeffrey Epstein, based on the emails, begins procuring models from Romania. We also know that that's the same time and year the Black Sea Rotational Force in Constanta, Romania, is being led by Erika's cousin, Lieutenant Colonel Dennis Franțve. It's the first time America is operating a base in Romania, which is later going to be accused of prostituting underage Romanian children. Brothel, Colonel Otto Buscher. Same time frame, Tyler Boyer goes out to Constanta, Romania, and he's hanging out and he's partying and he's drinking with Romanian models and parliament politicians. Then Tyler is going to return from Romania around September of 2010. Makes sense because he was attending Arizona State University, so school's got to get going. And then that same year, Jeffrey Epstein begins giving money to Arizona State University, specifically for their Origins project. Okay. 4 months after that, Erika, and this is now into 2011, in May of 2011, Tyler Boyer is going to get unusually elected to the Board of Regents. And I say unusually because the governor, he kind of didn't go through the normal process, and the governor just decides Tyler Boyer's the guy. And then 4 months beyond that, Erika is going to enroll into ASU for her final year of college, from 2011, 2012. And immediately 2 months after that, after the semester begins, she wins Miss Arizona USA, right, in November.
And that's going to be very important as well, because later in this video, you're going to hear and you're going to learn from other models what the modeling industry is actually about. And you're going to learn the significance of what it truly means to actually win. It's not just about being beautiful. It's not just about maybe there was something special about you. There are other politics that happens in the modeling world, which it doesn't take a brain surgeon or a scientist to figure out what some of those things are that are taking place behind the scenes. But it's not just intimacy, if you will. I can't say the sex word on YouTube. But there are other things that you could potentially be doing or helping with that could result in you being promoted or allowed to actually win, right? But I'm getting ahead of myself again. In the documentary clip that I'm going to play here in just a moment, you're going to hear the models exposing all of that.
Right after winning, we know she's going to establish this working partnership with the U.S. Marines Black Sea Rotational Force in Constanta, teaming up with them to run the Romanian Angels Project through her 501c3 Everyday Heroes. She's going to go out to Constanta. She's working with Colonel Otto Buscher, that same colonel who's going to be accused of trafficking and underage Romanians, apparently up and through Tel Aviv. And I do want to also say about that, in general, why did she partner with the U.S. Marines at all? Right. That's not a requirement. Okay, right. I went to Romania twice. My best friend was Romanian, and actually lived, her family, like she grew up here, but her family lived in Constanta. You can just go do charity. You don't have to team up with the U.S. Marines. This is a EU member state. Okay, you don't need the protection of U.S. Marines to be in Romania and decide that you want to drop off some Christmas gifts. Really, you just need an address to do that. But for some reason, this particular charity felt that they needed to team up with the U.S. Marines. I just want to point, no one's really recognized that. You don't need to do that. I can go do charity anywhere in Europe right now. Doesn't demand a partnership with the U.S. Marines. It's very strange. Then we have in 2014, 2015, Erika begins tweeting that she's a casting director or casting recruiter in Los Angeles. The same time, she's kind of trying to break into the industry herself, which we've shown. And I also want to say that during this time that she's trying to get involved in reality TV, we find her floating around Mark Burnett. Mark Burnett is also running Mark Burnett Productions. He's running Trump's Apprentice show. A lot of synergy happening around this time. I do believe that Erika knew Donald Trump before she ever met Charlie Kirk. I think that's honestly evident. And so it really makes you wonder if this kind of brings in Colvette, because Kairos Company is working with Mark Burnett via Johnny Moore. It's very weird around this time frame. But it's this next little time frame that I want to get to you guys on. All right. So I'll tell you how I got this information. I had received a tip a while ago saying, hey, their Next Model Management in New York City, Faith Cates, who was the co-founder of it, had to step down because of her involvement with Jeffrey Epstein. She's like in his emails like 4,000 times. Even after he got arrested for pedophilia, she's like, I will never betray you. I will never, ever betray you. Like, I've got your back to the end. She was very close. I mean, look, she's inviting him here in this email to her son's bar mitzvah. And this person said, just so you know, Erica was involved with Next Model Management, right?
So that is now Kathy Rothstein, Barbara Corcoran, and now this person all connected and personally knew Jeffrey Epstein. And these are all people that Erica Kirk allegedly had direct professional ties to. Real estate license, some sort of history with Corcoran real estate agency, and now the top model place. All of these people knew Jeffrey Epstein, not to mention, obviously, Donald Trump knew Jeffrey Epstein specifically from the modeling world. And based on what we're about to hear from the models, we know why Trump was in the modeling world. Why else would you be? It makes the most sense from 2 or 3 perspectives, or 2 or 3 things make the most sense why Donald Trump. And money is one of them, but there are a couple of other reasons too. Donald Trump is not an exception.
This is a tip. And this person did not work with Next Model Management. So I was like, okay, tip, let's see where it leads, kind of investigating things. And I kind of reach into some old contact cards. I'm going, that would be very curious, because Next Model Management apparently had tons of Eastern European girls all around the office. And like I said, you can look more into the Faith Cates thing, but it's not great. Right? It's not great. The relationship that Faith Cates had with Jeffrey Epstein, Eastern European models all around Next Model Management office. He was helping this model agency in particular. And so I decided to see if I could get some more people to verify that Erica was involved. What was she doing? Was she modeling? No. Well, I was able to confirm it, not just once, not twice, 3 times, 4 times with people with direct knowledge that Erica Kirk was multiple times taking meetings at Next Model Management and dealing with the people, like the suits that would surround Faith Cates, people like Jeffrey Epstein. Now, they did not say they saw her meeting with Jeffrey Epstein, but they said essentially Jeffrey Epstein was always there because he was so close with Faith. And this cannot be denied. You can go through their emails. They're very close. And so he would sometimes come in and he would take a meeting. And so he would just kind of, when you're friends with someone, I'm going to take an office, and nobody knew what the context of these meetings were. They are saying that in meetings like that, meaning Erica was not there because of a modeling contract or because they don't know why she was there. They don't know why Erica was in that same category of suits, right? Of just like suits, and they were not to ask questions, and Erica is there and she's taking meetings at Next Model Management. So now, feeling 100% certain that this information was real, like I said, confirming it 4 ways, I decided to go out and ask Erica what she was doing there. Because if people with intimate knowledge situation don't know what she was doing there, that's not great.
I just want to say for the record, it's so funny to me that I think she's doing the responsible thing by reaching out. Of course, Erica's not going to respond, but it's so funny to me that you're exposing all these things about this lady and you're doing a public investigation, and for some reason you think she's going to openly and freely talk to you. It's probably not going to happen.
Right? What are the chances? What does Erica have to do with Next Model Management? What is she doing there? And I went out to her and I, of course, copied the spokesperson, Andrew Colvett, and I said, what specifically were you doing at Next Model Management in New York City? What's up? What do you do? Did you run into Epstein? I just want to know, what is your relationship with Faith? How about that? Give me the context of this. Crickets. I feel like that would be a very easy email to answer one question. What is the context of your relationship with Next Model Management? We've now confirmed that you were taking meetings here. What was the nature of those meetings? And I mentioned, she's obviously had a falling out regarding she had to step down because of the Epstein emails, and she retired. She said it's like the nice way of I'm deciding to retire, and nothing. Wouldn't you just answer that instantly? Like if someone just emailed me and said, what is the context? You're ASU, you got Romania going on, this modeling agency. And they said like there were constantly Eastern European models all over the office. I mean, like it was just everywhere. And Epstein would just come all the time. Like, this was his friend. Why wouldn't he come into his friend's office? Wouldn't you like rank that really high in terms of just giving a comment and being like, oh, I was there for, I don't know what would be an appropriate answer. I literally don't know what would be appropriate answer. I don't know why she'd be there, but wouldn't you just offer that answer if there was a good answer?
Yeah. And here's the thing. A very simple question would be this. What are the possibilities of whatever it is or could be that Erica Kirk was doing with, Next Model Management? If this turns out to be true, none of this has been verified. None of this may be real. But if it is real, which I would feel that if it wasn't real, they would easily just disprove this or respond and just, completely shut this down. But they're choosing not to for whatever reason, which only leads people to believe that there could be some credence to this, right? If Erica is affiliated with a model agency, a modeling agency, and she's not actually modeling, what could be Erica's role? To me, the first thing that would come to my mind is recruiter. She would be a recruiter. Before I play this second clip of Candace Owens, I want to go ahead and transition into this documentary. So there is a documentary entitled, make sure I get this right. I want to make sure I get this right. American Girl Grace Stirs Up Success. All right. And back in August of 2025, we reacted to this model who personally met Jeffrey Epstein, and she just blew the lid off of everything. And she talked about what the modeling world was actually about and how it actually worked. And there were handlers. Nobody should be shocked to hear that. She talked about it was handlers. Now, unfortunately, I won't be able to play all of her video because she uses a lot of language, and I would have had to edit too much of that video, and it's a really long video. It is on my Patreon. Link is in the description to my Patreon if you would like to see it. Many of you all have already watched it if you've been a Patreon member. However, we're going to both react to a snippet of the documentary. But before I show you the snippet of the documentary of these models exposing these people, including the guy, Jean-Luc Brunell, who was 100% an affiliate of Jeffrey Epstein, I'm going to first show you just a small clip of that model reacting to this documentary. I hope I'm not confusing you. The same documentary that we're about to watch in just a moment, this model screen recorded the same documentary, and she did a voiceover to expose all the lies that they told in the documentary, to confirm the things that were true, or to even take the things that were true a little bit further and share more information that the models refused to share. This is just a snippet of it.
That they'll have a modeling agency in Europe, which will get them work and be their home away from home.
Okay, so I was in the most promising model contest with John Robert Powers in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. From there, I went to New York for a competition at the Waldorf Astoria Hotel. I walked the runway one time, and Monique Pollard, you'll see her in pictures with Cindy Crawford, Naomi, and all the gang, approached me and said she was Coral from Florida, a real nice little grandmotherly looking lady. Yeah, and then I met Douglas Ash, who was my handler.
Now, the lady that she just said is a little sweet looking lady. The lady turned out to be a handler. We're about to see her in just a moment in this documentary. They use women, young and older women, to befriend these girls, to almost comfort them, right? To buffer the anxiety that these girls are feeling. But these women are predators, just like Ghislaine Maxwell. That was Ghislaine Maxwell's role with Jeffrey Epstein, right? She was just as much a predator as he was. But because she was a woman, she's much more likely to be trusted by other women, let alone young underage girls.
In New York, the president of American Models, and he paraded me around New York City. Then they shipped me off to Paris for Claude Hadad, which you will soon see in this documentary. He's the right-hand man to Jean-Luc Brunell. I was in Paris. I was in Milan. It was freaking hell. I will continue. I'm going to do live streams today on my personal experiences. But again, they called me and interviewed me for this story. This aired and nothing freaking happened.
And as you can see, I titled it on, this is a screen recording from Patreon. It's called The Evil Truth Behind the Modeling Industry, Part 1. And she did an incredible job. All right. Now we're going to transition over to the actual documentary. And you're going to hear so many parallels from what we just heard Candace talking about, sort of what she was allegedly told about Erica's role at this next model management place, right? So let's go ahead and transition into this clip of Jean-Luc Brunell and his modeling agency that was taking place in, I believe this was in France. It's called American Girls in Paris.
What they're sending their girls into. It's a meat market. You are there for the purpose of somebody wanting to take you home to bed. And what happens if you say no? You don't work.
Every week, dozens of young American girls walk off airplanes in Paris and Milan, certain that their faces will be the next to beam from the covers of the fashion magazines. They are girls as young as 15 and 16, recruited by talent scouts or sent by their local modeling agencies, because Europe has more fashion houses and magazines, and it's easier to get that first big break there than in New York. The girls are told that they'll have a modeling agency in Europe, which will get them work and be their home away from home. They are girls like Sherry Bolts from Pompano Beach, Florida, a cheerleader who dropped out of high school and used her savings to buy a plane ticket to Europe when she was just 17. Her local modeling agency helped arrange it and still gets a percentage of her European income. And girls like Megan Douglas, who was a switchboard operator in Washington, D.C., when her photograph won her a spot in a modeling contest. And girls like Kimberly Barker of Nampa, Idaho, whose parents took out a loan to get the money to send her to Europe and to give her a shot at the big time. Though the odds are about 1,000 to 1 that a girl will end up a successful model. A model like Debbie Haggerty, who makes about $150,000 a year, and says the top models may do all right, but it's rough for all the others trying to break through.
Did you hear that? Majority of the models, regardless of how pretty they are, regardless of what you may think about their bodies, regardless of how sweet they are, regardless of how quote-unquote hard-working they are, and whatever that means in the modeling world, right? They struggle. They struggle. It's a small percentage of the models that actually win and are actually successful. What should that tell you, especially after what you're about to hear? What should that tell you is taking place and what you have to do to become a model? So if you become Miss America for a particular state, what are you doing and what did you have to do to win? Because we know it's not just about being pretty.
Nasty business, and I don't think these parents have any idea what they're sending their girls into.
What did she just say? Let's take that back. Say it again.
The others trying to break through.
Nasty business, and I don't think these parents have any idea what they're sending their girls into.
It's a nasty business. I don't think these parents have any idea what they're sending their girls into, right? Erica allegedly was in the modeling world, since she was 13? And as we know, she has won. But let's continue.
What the parents are told by those local modeling agencies and talent scouts is that their daughters have been signed up with European modeling agencies which will take care of everything and become the girls' family abroad.
How many girls are on option for this?
So it's something of a shock when the girls discover that a lot of those agencies routinely take as much as 3/4 of the girls' salary.
Wow.
For instance, charging fees on the photographs the girls need for promotion, and ostensibly deducting taxes and Social Security, even though most of the girls are working illegally without work permits.
We have to check for that. It's very confusing.
Sylvain Cherwat is president of a fledgling models union in Paris. She's helping some of the girls bring lawsuits against the agencies to learn just where all that money goes.
What happens if the girl goes to the agency and says, wait a minute, how much did the client...
They never want to explain it. They just say, okay, baby, you know, we have a lot of experience and we have to pay the tax department and we have to pay a lot of things, so don't try to understand.
So do the agencies really pay Social Security on an illegal work?
We don't even know exactly if they pay all the amount. I'm sure they don't pay for that.
Okay, so for those of you that may not have just caught what just happened, this woman here who's being interviewed is admitting on camera that, number one, these models, who are in some cases as young as 15 years old, as you're about to hear in just a moment, 15, 16-year-old girls are being flown across the world. Their parents in some cases are giving permission to fly their girls across the world under the guise of their daughter becoming a top model, not understanding what their daughter is being sent to. The very little money that these girls are making, most of it is being taken due to rent and other fees and taxes. Even though there's no way, this woman just admitted there's no way to corroborate this, which to me sounds like money laundering, right? Furthermore, a large percentage of these models aren't even successful, and these models are living, as you're about to hear, in a confined space, right? So we're already hearing so many things that's wrong with this, but it only gets worse.
The modeling agencies also own apartments all around Paris, which they rent out to the new girls who come to town. Several girls to an apartment, and each girl paying a lot of rent.
I lived in an apartment that was by no means nice. There was 4 girls living there at the time. We did have our own rooms, but the rooms were like the size of boxes.
Courtney Powell is from Stoneboro, Pennsylvania.
And how much was the rent? $900 a month.
And you probably...
$900 a month? $900 a month. That was when the franc was low. And
$900 a month in 1980. Bro, what? Imagine how much $900 was in 1980. Oh my gosh.
we were each paying that.
Oh, hi.
Eileen Ford runs the Ford Modeling Agency in New York, one of the largest agencies in the world. She's known for the way she protects her girls. She uses the European agencies to book work for her girls abroad.
This lady right here is the woman that I thought of. This woman right here you're looking at is the Ghislaine Maxwell of France, allegedly. This woman here was responsible. Okay, the model that did the voiceover that I let you all hear just moments ago, in her video that we reacted to on Patreon, what, 11 months, whenever that was, 7 months ago, she stated that this lady right here was like the Ghislaine Maxwell of this modeling world, because her role was to take girls who were experiencing abuse and other man, I have to be so careful with my language here. Other forms of unwanted behavior from the likes of Jean-Luc Brunell, who we're about to see here in just a moment, a very good friend of Jeffrey Epstein. I want to keep repeating that. Her job was to console these women. So when these women would come and report certain things that they experienced, certain things that happened, she would pretend that she was there for them, but it was her job to console and pamper and keep the girls all together, keep everything from blowing up, keep lawsuits from happening, recruiting more girls. Does that sound familiar?
So a contract with her can have a profound effect on a European agency's business. We met her at the Ritz Hotel in Paris, where she was looking for new faces. We asked her about the girls' complaints that their rent is way overpriced.
I've heard that, and I know that it's true.
It is true that they're overcharged for these apartments?
Yeah, they're overcharged in New York, too.
By the agencies?
Sure.
The girls say not only do a lot of agencies take financial advantage of them, sometimes they're taken advantage of in other ways, too.
Oh, my God.
There he is. There he is.
This is an agency owner named Claude Hadad. For years, his Paris agency Mademoiselle Prestige welcomed teenage American girls. Like other agency heads, Hadad offered many of the new girls help with the transition, temporary housing, a room in his apartment.
Nice body, huh?
Do you sometimes feel you've awakened in a candy store?
Not in a flower shop. I'm a gardener. They're not candy, they are flowers.
And there
Just smell them, that's it.
Yeah, he's lying.
Smell the perfume.
And when they're staying in your apartment?
Yes.
You don't feel a temptation to
Absolutely
walk
not.
in on
No,
them?
absolutely not.
Not at all?
Not at all.
Lies. A heterosexual man around several young women that are unrelated to him, that are models, that he had a personal hand in helping recruit, which means he's looking for certain things that he finds attractive. He wants you to believe that having these 15 and 16-year-old girls at his place, no, not believable at all.
But Lorraine was 16 when Claude Hadad discovered her at a Paris street and brought her to his agency and to his house.
He asked me to come to his room, and I wouldn't go to his room, so he had decided to get into bed with me in my room. And just trying to kiss you, trying to block you, you know, in a corner or against a wall or anything. And you would just keep talking and trying to squiggle out of it, you know.
How many of the girls who came in told you that he had tried this sort of thing with them?
All the girls I lived with had all except one.
How many teenage models, Mr. Hadad, have you slept with?
What do you mean by teenage?
The young girls, 16 to 19.
16, almost never.
Let me read you some letters.
Almost never.
Yeah.
These are letters.
I have a lot of letters, too.
He walked in on me while I was in the bath, while I was changing in the room, and even did things like jumping in the bed with me while I was trying to sleep. Is it true? I'm asking.
No, most of this, it's always, you know, when people say something, it's always a little truth.
What's the little truth in this?
Yes, very little truth.
What do you mean little truth? What is the little truth?
That I hug them, that I try to flirt with them, but never more. They can say what they want.
Here's some of the words they used. Sexually disturbed, pervert. You had to sleep with him to work. He almost raped me.
I cannot. What do you say? How many almost raped me? You always use almost.
I'm quoting. Yeah. But in this case, it was a 15-year-old girl.
Can I? Oh, I wish
15 years old?
I don't remember. Maybe it's possible. I don't know.
This is the modeling world. So it should come as no surprise that all of these people are who they are. All right. This is how they were speaking about it. She clarified that she repeated to make sure you understood, a 15-year-old. You understand I'm saying that these are the allegations from a 15-year-old. His response was, I don't know. I don't remember. Maybe it's true.
Then Claude Hadad went on to say, what happens with the girls is not really his fault.
When a French girl starts to play with her body, she knows that she can have problems. She can start to have problems with men. And in America, I found out that when a girl does that, it's just, she doesn't even mean it. It's a game, but she's not thinking of what she's doing. It took me a long time to realize this.
Do you work with Claude Hadad?
No, sir. No more.
Wouldn't send your girls to him?
No, ma'am. He knows why.
Why?
Because I don't think he behaved properly with some of them. I know he didn't.
What did he do?
No, and I know what he did. I have letters from girls telling me what he did.
The model who did the voiceover at this point in the documentary actually goes on to say at this part of the documentary, she said that this woman here is lying. Lying as, number one, stating that she no longer works with the guy. She absolutely continued to work with her, according to the model. Number two, the model went on to state that once again, she was helping aid in this, right? She was helping facilitate these models because this is the nature of the modeling business. The model was stating that usually what you have is a recruiter, which are usually men, right? They're like the top guys, the one that calls the shot, make the final decisions. But then they'll have someone that plays that middle role, right, as an intermediary. And in this particular case, the model was stating that that was this woman's role. And that is usually what is needed in modeling agencies.
To me, it's just so reprehensible. Just so appalling that some old sleazebag would come along and touch a girl.
But one man Eileen Ford does associate with in Paris is this man, the head of Karen Models, one of the largest and most prestigious agencies in the country. His name is Jean-Luc Brunell.
There he is, Jean-Luc Brunell. And this is about to get very interesting. Now, this right here, who you all see on the screen, Jean-Luc Brunell is the one that Candace referenced earlier in the video, and they claim that this guy unalived himself. Now, the claims are that this guy unalived himself in 2022. This guy had a very close relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, but he was arrested. And once he was arrested, he was facing allegations of inappropriate behavior with an underage, with a minor. Surprise, surprise. This very close associate of Jeffrey Epstein is alleged to have taken himself out in jail. Very similar circumstances to Jeffrey Epstein. How convenient. Because he couldn't bear or stand the idea of spending the rest of his life in jail. So instead of waiting to see if he would even be convicted, he took himself out. That is what they tell us. In 2022. So it was very recent.
The girls told us Brunell is very careful about the models who are under the protection of Eileen Ford. But Courtney and Sherry, who are not Ford models, told us about the dinners he invites his other girls to attend with his male friends.
It's a meat market. You are there for the purpose of somebody wanting to take you home to bed. He is acting as a matchmaker. He's got the agency. He's got the girls. His friends say, oh, Jean-Luc, I'd like to meet some girls, or we're having a party tonight. Can you bring some girls?
And what happens if you say no?
You don't work.
Bingo.
You've actually known, be very careful on this, you actually have known that he has made someone pay a professional penalty for saying no.
I know, I paid a penalty for saying no. I was personally proposed to by himself, Jean-Luc, and I said, no way. I laughed in his face, and I had no more appointments, and I never worked.
What about the fact that people say when you come over here, you've come over knowing what you're getting into? I mean, everyone knows.
How can you know what you're getting into? How can you know what you're getting into? This is like a foreign country.
I don't know how old they are in this clip, but I find it hard to believe. I don't care what country it is. Your job is to, in some cases, be half naked, other cases not as much, so that people, mostly men, can look at your body and judge you based on your body, and you win that way. That is the way you will pay your bills. That is the value that they're placing on you if they find your body attractive or not. You don't think that will invoke other thoughts? But not here to blame them. I'm just stating that maybe that's something that we should start thinking about, you know?
No, I mean, I'm from Florida, little city, Pompano Beach, you know? I mean, come on. How am I going to know what goes on in Paris, you know, or Milan? I mean, I don't even speak the language. I don't know anyone, you know? I'm in a new environment, you know? I don't know anyone. I have to trust the people that I come over here with. I mean, I'm naive, I'm young.
A lot of these bigwigs at the agencies literally have a scale where in this hand they have your career and in this hand they have what they want. And your career can go up if they get what they want. If they don't get it, your career goes down.
That right there alone should be the end of this video. She just exposed what the modeling industry is about. Right? That says it all.
Many girls ever come to you and tell you that Jean-Luc invites them to parties where he has male friends, and it's clear what the arrangement is when you get there, and that you are expected to be the friend of his male friends.
I don't believe that, I mean, I believe they said it.
But you don't believe it's true?
I find it hard to believe it's true.
Yeah. The model who reacted to this went absolutely insane. She started screaming. She said that this lady is a compulsive liar. That Jean-Luc Brunell, once again, who was in this business with Jeffrey Epstein, who was also in this business with President Trump, the same President Trump that just appointed Erica Kirk to the board over the Department of Defense. That's what we're talking about here. That's what we're talking about here. All right. This is who we're talking about here. What are we expected? What are we expected to believe? First and foremost, why was Erica Kirk able to win? So, okay, she was modeling at the time. We're hearing from models what it takes to make it to the top. We're hearing from models what it takes to make it to the top. Well, you say, well, maybe it's different. No, they're stating, and the model who did the voiceover or reaction to this same documentary stated that there are no exceptions. This is the world of modeling. This is just how the game works. It's the way it's designed. For one agency to be different from the next in this regard, what means that it's not a modeling agency, it's something else. According to this model. These are not my words. Again, feel free to check out that video on Patreon if you get a chance. She exposed quite a bit. She named names, quite a few names. So the bigger question that I have here is that this is when Erica was modeling before she met Charlie Kirk. What are we expected to believe then in 2018, around the same time when she was interviewing with TPUSA? So it's verified she has this connection to Trump through modeling. It's no secret, Trump, Jeffrey Epstein connection. Now we have this Jean-Luc Brunell alleged PDF file, right? You got Erica connected to the military, but this time in 2018, she is doing She is affiliated with the modeling world, allegedly through Next Model Management. But this time, she's playing a different role. She's not going to be actually modeling. So once again, I'm just asking the question, what could she have been doing? What role could she have been playing? Same question we have for the real estate agency. How is it that you are affiliated, or it appears that you worked for the Corcoran real estate agency with CEOs that are in the Epstein files doing business with Jeffrey Epstein, but we can't find anywhere where you've sold any properties, right? I'm asking the same question. Why would she partner with the military, the same military where there are people that are alleged, and in some cases, I believe, convicted pedophiles, accused of having brothels? Enough with the coincidences. Enough with, well, we don't know. Yeah, we don't know. But the picture that's been painted here, the connections that's been painted here, the affiliations is off the charts. This is why Ben Shapiro is encouraging people to call Candace evil. This is why Ben Shapiro is calling anybody who's looking into Erica Kirk evil. Why do you care, Ben Shapiro? Do you believe that if we follow this, the breadcrumbs is going to lead us to a certain nation that's employing and in some cases deploying people into this country to serve different agendas in different roles and positions? Is that what's really going on here? This is Jean-Luc Brunell. Knowing what we know about this guy and what you're about to continue to hear about this guy, it just makes this photo that much more disgusting. How do these people get these positions? Where do they come from? How are you able to convince somebody to start a modeling agency like that's a real job, to pay these girls, but then take most of their money, and then you're using some of these girls for different reasons?
We've been told
I have heard, oh, I'm sure you have. If you wouldn't be asking me if you weren't told that was true. But I like to think that our girls are not treated that way. And I like to think that were that true, I would know it because I've broken off more than one association here in my life.
And you'd break it off immediately
yes, I would.
if it were
then
true.
I would.
At discotheques like the Bandouche and the Palace, models are admitted free. When we filmed at the Bandouche, Jean-Luc Brunell was there. A number of models told us he has used cocaine heavily and offered it to the girls, along with help in their careers. Many of the girls who spoke with us said openly that they had been regular cocaine users. But some warned that there were things that went beyond cocaine. This one asked to be photographed in shadow.
So you first met Jean-Luc Brunell in a nightclub when he offered you drugs, cocaine. And Jean-Luc, did he use drugs?
Oh, yes.
You say, oh, yes, a lot?
Well, that's why I used to like to see him, because he'd always give me a little vial of cocaine and say, you know, go have a good time in the bathroom. That was more or less, he did that with all the girls. And everyone else.
This girl told us a few years ago she went to Jean-Luc's house with a few of his friends. She said a powerful hallucinogenic drug was slipped into her drink, and that Jean-Luc kept urging her to go in and take a bath.
Sounds familiar. Sounds like the same tactics that P. Diddy was using. Sounds like the same tactics that Jeffrey Epstein was using, allegedly, in the Epstein files. And we've already, shout out to Whitney Webb, who already made the connection between Diddy and Jeffrey Epstein, a part of the same network. So it's not a secret that they allegedly used the same strategies and methods.
I started hallucinating, and at first, you know, I was very confusing because it was very scary, because if you don't know that you've been drugged and all of a sudden you start hallucinating, that's very scary.
She said she managed to get out of the house, but stayed disoriented for 24 hours. But this ex-model says several years ago she went to Jean-Luc's house and didn't get away. She asked to have her voice and face disguised.
He gave you a drink?
Yes.
You drank it, and then what?
I blacked out. I don't remember anything after that.
The next thing you remember
was being in this man's bed.
Who was he?
Do I have to say the name?
Say
It
the
was
name.
Jean-Luc.
Y'all heard it. This is the same Jean-Luc Brunell. I want to keep repeating this. That is not only affiliated with Epstein. That's no secret. That's public record. But according to Candace, also affiliated with these people that are over Next Model Management, another modeling agency that Erica Kirk is allegedly attached to. Are we starting to see a pattern here?
From Karen's modeling agency.
You were.
Yes, I do know that.
You're sure?
Yes, I'm positive. I know.
You think everybody knows this about Jean-Luc Brunell?
Oh, yes. A lot of people know that. A lot of people.
They continue to deal with him.
Everyone continues to deal with it. I don't know why.
We played a tape of the second girl's story of drugs and rape to Eileen Ford.
I don't know what to tell you. That's horrible.
And this is the first time you've ever...
You don't know what to tell her. This woman is evil.
heard one of these stories.
Absolutely.
Because we have talked to 5 other girls who say that they have had drugs put in their drinks by Jean-Luc or Jean-Luc's friends.
I hope you're wrong. And for his sake, I hope you're wrong.
Eileen Ford says she's sure Jean-Luc has used drugs, and she even warned him about it.
I have certainly asked him never to have drugs around in front of my models.
That's all you've ever said to him?
Well, that's a pretty fair warning.
But were you ever told about this and ever raised it with him?
The drugs? You mean being doped up and put to bed?
Getting girls drugged up and into bed with him or his friends?
No.
Have girls ever come back and complained to you that he took them to parties with people who dealt in drugs?
No.
The model once again, who did the voiceover of this documentary, at this part of the documentary, once again, she said this is a bold-faced lie because she experienced it firsthand knowledge, firsthand experience. She know that this woman, many girls came to this woman and told this woman this. But again, that was this woman's role. What am I getting at here? What I'm getting at is there are usually 1 or 2 roles. You're either going to be a model or you're going to participate in helping recruit and silence certain things that take place in the modeling world. You're probably going to be doing one or the other. Like a Ghislaine Maxwell. Ghislaine Maxwell is now at the age where she is not a model, right? So her role was something else with Jeffrey Epstein.
So here they are, the fresh new faces from Omaha and Washington and Pompano Beach and Wichita. Every girl hoping for a lightning bolt that will transform an ordinary teenager into a superstar. While not far away, the wiser and older girls of 19 and 20 say someone has to warn them what may lie ahead.
I can't really see any solution to the problem that's in Paris at this moment because I think there'll always be people who are sending their girls over thinking, well, she's different. Every mother believes that her daughter is different. And it's sad. I think it really is sad when she could have been going to her junior prom. She was hanging out at the Bandouche with a bunch of playboys, shoving cocaine up her nose and ruining her reputation and her life. It's not worth it. It's really not worth it.
Jean-Luc Brunell declined to give us an interview, but Eileen Ford has since told us that Brunell denied to her the allegations against him. Despite that, however, she told us that she has notified Brunell that she will not send him any new models unless this matter is all cleared up.
So what's the likelihood that this has been exposed about what's happening in that modeling world? You think it's different other places? What's the likelihood that you take half-naked women and young girls, you place them in a room to walk in circles for grown men to decide if they're beautiful enough, if they have the right body type, if they're the right size in the right places, what's the likelihood that maybe, just maybe, some of these things were taking place and you have a couple of people in that room whose job is to help those girls feel comfortable, to help those girls look the other way when unwanted, inappropriate things are taking place to them and to other people around them, right? To convince these girls that it's not that bad. Who better to do it than a woman? Now, with everything you just heard, now I want you to hear this additional information that, just to loop it back around what Candace shared the following episode, what she has allegedly been told, or she can allegedly confirm, what she can confirm about what she allegedly found out.
What is also a fact is that some of the employees that and some of the people who were associated parties with Next Models remember Erica Francfe at the office taking meetings. Weird, because Erica Kirk, despite her very illustrious, multi-hyphenated career, she's actually never made the claim to have worked for a modeling agency. So what was she doing? That was a question we went out to her with. What were you actually doing here, parked up at this office? What is your connection here to Next Model agency, Next Model Management? And yeah, do you know Faith Cates? How do you know Faith Cates, Erica? Did you see Epstein walking around the office? Fair questions. Well, what we can now confirm, and these are eyewitness accounts specifically, that they recall Erica because she was taking meetings at the office, and those offices were pertaining to real estate. Real estate for the models that were coming from Eastern Europe, who were being packed like sardines into apartment buildings. Now, on background, in case you're not familiar with the modeling industry, as I am not, the sources confirm that what is typical in the modeling world was for agencies to find places for girls to stay while they were in New York. They tell me, and I'm going to quote this here, I quote, "Younger girls, when they first get to New York City, they pack them in like cattle into one apartment."
That's where Erica was located. That is where Erica was allegedly dating. That is where Corcoran agency, real estate agency, is also located. New York City. Or New York.
End quote. Which makes Erica's role curious, because multiple people remember, and they say that Erica Francfe was the contact. Specifically, what they recall is she was the contact for a white building on the Upper East Side, around 68th Street and 2nd and 3rd Avenue. It's pretty specific. Yeah, that she was the contact. Now, why? What?
A white building that Candace would then go on the next episode to confirm, or to say that it's allegedly Jeffrey Epstein's brother's building. I believe his name is Mark Epstein, right? So yeah, what are we to make of this? Right? What are we to make of this? At some point, these connections aren't just coincidences, and at some point, these connections that we don't need people to confirm. Well, I guess we need to confirm if they actually took place or not, but we don't need anybody to have a conversation with us to tell us why they were doing things. Honestly, if you're connected to all these folks that had personal relationships, right? Who we got? We got Trump. Erica knew Trump through the modeling world. Boom. I got to figure out to share a screen where we can sort of make these connections together, but I'm all over the place on my sheet of paper where I'm making all these connections. So you got Trump through modeling. Erica knew Trump before she met Charlie. Charlie Kirk was doing campaign runs within 3 to 4 years of opening TPUSA with Donald Trump Jr. So that's like as early as what, 2014, 2015, when Trump was running for the first time around. So that's before he met Erica, allegedly. She also has a real estate license through Corcoran Real Estate, whose founder is Barbara Corcoran, who knew Jeffrey Epstein. And then you had, I believe it's Kathy Rothstein. All right. What's also interesting is it was either Kathy Rothstein or the other CEO who was on, what is it, Shark Tank or whatever it is, that show with Donald Trump. So this is a person that's not only connected to Jeffrey Epstein, but also connected to Donald Trump. Did business with Donald Trump. And I believe it's Kathy Rothstein. Now you have Faith Kate through a modeling agency called Next Model Management that literally is called model management. So that means your job would be to manage the models. Who does that sound like to you? I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, and the video here. Let me go to it. I'll pull it. Let's see if we can pull it up together. One of these ladies. Let's see here. Is it this video? Boom.
Whoa. What's that? I just built a budgeting app in Base 44. Guys, Nina just...
Okay, that's really strange that that's not... Like, what are you doing? Why is the video not playing? If you are not yet a member of the Patreon... Okay, that's weird. Let's see if we can pull this up. I'll know it once I get to the photos of these people. What? Let me pause this. This is weird. Watching myself. I don't want to watch the whole video back. I just want to. Okay, here it is. Let's see. I don't know why the video's buffering. It's really strange. All right. 2018, I believe it was, she applied for this luxurious real estate agency on Corcoran or something to that effect, right? All these people are the owners, you know, a couple of the CEOs from this. Darn it. Okay. It's not that video then. It's another one that I did. So it must have been the live. I want to show it to you all. It's kind of important. So we can at least get the name right. You know what I mean? Okay, let's see here. Okay, let's go back. Okay, here we go. I believe this is Kathy. Crazy, right? People have already been covering that. Is wild. But anyways, so Lynn Rothschild, the person suspected of introducing Jeffrey Epstein to Alan Dershowitz and Prince Andrew, she is listed as the president of this Lynn Rothstein, that's her name. Lynn, not Kathy. Luxurious real estate business, right? And there's another person since the year 2000 that is listed as the CEO and president of the same real estate company. And this person's name is Pamela Lieben. All right, Pamela Lieben. Now, I want to make sure I got this right, which, by the way, Pamela Lieben is also in the Epstein files. Okay. Boom. I just wanted to confirm the names. I'll drop the links to both of those in the description if you all are interested in watching either of those videos for sure. Watching Didi. Y'all are so funny. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. These are way too many connections, man. Way too many connections. Trump. You got Barbara Corcoran. You got Lynn Rothstein. You got Faith Kate, and you got Pamela Lieben. So that's another person. That's Pamela. People, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people around Erica, all connected to Jeffrey Epstein. And most of these people are in professional settings, which makes it worse because the professional settings are tied to modeling. Y'all get it. Y'all don't need me to just keep repeating that, but y'all get it. I want to say something too before this video ends. I've gotten several emails over the past 4 months, and I got another email today of somebody that wanted to remain anonymous, but people keep talking about Erica most likely was Charlie Kirk's handler, which I'm definitely open to that. I've definitely entertained that. I alluded to that maybe 2 days after the fact of September 10th that I felt like she may be his handler, maybe a week after. And now people are saying that being that Charlie and Erica married relatively fast, and now we know what we know about Erica and her background and her affiliations, there's a strong likelihood that she was his handler, was sent in to be his handler, to watch over him, to be able to tell outsiders where Charlie's mind was, or to try to keep Charlie in line. Now people are concerned if Candace Owens, his husband, is her handler and was maybe sent to her. Maybe even part of the reason why she converted to Catholicism. You know, I'm not afraid to talk about that. My response is, it's likely. And I would be shocked if Candace hasn't at the very least considered it. Maybe she's looked into it, gotten the answer, and maybe it's not true. But to not at least consider it after everything that's happened, no. No. You know? So yes, that's something I've thought about. Yes, it's something I've spoken about on this channel multiple times. Candace may not like me saying that, but that's okay. It's not. I'm not coming from a. I'm coming from an objective place. You know, it's like similar circumstances. You know, so. And I'm not saying that to be a fact. I'm just saying I got an email today of another person running it by me as if it was news. And I just want to let you all know I understand where you're coming from. I understand why you think that. You have every right to critically think and to acknowledge and notice things, right? So there's that. I'm going to get to some of you all's comments. I don't want this video to be too long. All right. I know. Thank you, Veronica, for the $5. I know I'm going to be eaten up for saying this, but when are we going to acknowledge that there's no way Charlie didn't know he was surrounded by evil? Yeah, I don't think you're going to get eaten up. Not in this chat. I've been saying it for a while. Like, I'm not ready to say that Candace is going to eventually get there with it, since she's the biggest, largest platform, the largest voice, and the closest to Charlie out of any of us. But I don't know how you don't entertain that possibility. All the things we figured out about Erika in 4 months, Charlie had years. And I just played a clip the other day. I dropped a video talking about, we heard Charlie talking about how you need to interview your spouse. He encourages any and everybody to do it. Interview your spouse. And if they don't pass the interview, move on to the next prospect. He says you need to treat it like a job interview. And I agree with him. So, but following that logic, how is it that we're able to find out more in 4 months than he knew in years? And that's just Erika. What about Tyler? Right? Dan Flood, all these weird people. Charlie also said that you have to know things about the in-laws. In-laws are important. The things that we found out about Erika's mother, Superfeed. I just find that difficult to. Charlie had no idea, you know. One would say, well, what does it matter now? It matters quite a bit, because if Charlie knew these things, then it may cause you to look at September 10th or what may or may not have happened that day differently. Which reminds me, for those of you that are still here, I'm considering going live tomorrow so that I can react to that camera footage that Candace showed behind Charlie's head. I have a few thoughts. Yeah, I have a few thoughts about that. Synagogue of Satan. Yeah. Lapro, thank you for the $2 super chat. What does blonde hair represent? Blonde hair, this was random, but he's not talking about natural blonde hair. But for those that are in the industry, whether it's the movie industry, you know, entertainment industry, music industry, blonde hair typically is it's a sign that someone has went through MK Ultra. Yeah. And as we know, there are many different forms of MK Ultra. MK Ultra isn't just about strapping somebody up to a machine, putting this thing over their head where it's all these electrical wires. MK Ultra is also used in different methods, such as medication, hypnotism, types of other forms of drugs. So yeah, that typically what they mean is an MK asset, most likely. I've covered that plethora of different people. Kanye West definitely been through MK Ultra, in my opinion. Who have I've covered? Kodak Black, the rapper. Kevin Gates, 100%. Yeah. Thank you for the $10 super chat. ACA parent here. What are your thoughts on the secrecy of Erica Kirk's visit to their school and deleting hundreds of comments under the Facebook post about the even when pull my kids that day, obviously? Are you talking about when she came to Arkansas? If you're talking about when she came to Arkansas, yeah, I've covered that. I went to the event. I was denied entry. I don't know if you saw the video, but I think that is propaganda. I think it's a Trojan horse for Zionism. They have to know that they're losing popularity. They're losing support. And the best they have is the grieving widow angle. Erica has rebranded herself, or at least she did when she came to Arkansas, to present herself as this super fragile, helpless, hopeless, poor lady. When based on the research, that's not what we're finding. So I think that if you're a parent, you are free to make whatever decisions you would like for your children. Of course, I would encourage, if you hold conservative values, I would second guess having my children anywhere near Turning Point USA or Club America or whatever they call it. Because it's Zionism wrapped in gold. Yeah. Those are my thoughts. I'm not here to give you any pointers or anything. Of course, you're free to do what you want with your children. But the organization, I'm glad that's part of the reason why I read those tweets at the beginning, or that tweet at the beginning from Sam Parker, that gave us this not chronological, but this list of all the things that Charlie said and stood for, and what TPUSA is doing now. All the opposite, just like LBJ after JFK back in 1963. I believe it was November 22nd, 1963. He radically flipped, just like Erica. Thank you for the $10 super chat. Veronica, why does your profile picture look like Erica? Is that Erica? That's funny. In my opinion, Maddie McCann, Jean Bennett Ramsey, Summer Wells, AMD Oren, and Oren West are in the files. Do your own research. These people are not Christians. They're in the Kabbalah, period. I actually don't know who any of these people are. Maybe John Ramsey. I feel like I should know. Yes, I believe a lot of these people they practice the Kabbalah. I do believe that. So in other words, I believe a lot of these people are Freemasons. Yeah. That's how a lot of these people have platforms to begin with. Yep. I would highly encourage you all, while I have you here, to go and watch the video I dropped yesterday about Mr. what's his name, the comedian George Carlin. A lot of people know him, but I think you're going to appreciate the sort of the way I tied into what's happening today. More weird things happen with that video as well. I posted it about 15 hours later. I get an email. Matter of fact, I've been saying this so long, I want to prove it this time. I get an email telling me that the video was ready. Was let's see. Where is that email at? Let me show y'all. This is what I've been dealing with on my channel. So let me show you. I got an email yesterday that said, hi, Didi got a podcast. Copyrighted content has been detected in your video. George Carlin warned us. The visibility of your video is not impacted, but you can no longer monetize it. I made the proper correction, posted the video. They said the video was fine once I have removed it. And clearly the visibility still wasn't on. Now the video is, I mean, it very much so underperformed. It's sitting at like 10,000 views. Channel with 200,000 subscribers posting videos that are very much so in alignment with what that channel typically posts about shouldn't be doing those type of numbers. But it's the nature of what's happening right now. It's cool. Didi, it's not Barbara Cochran. She sold the company in 2001 to NRT Leon Black. They were able to use her name. This is what people are missing. Measure Man, appreciate the $5 super chat. Is this true? Let me see. You might be right, bro. Let's check that in real time. Is it true that Barbara Corcoran sold the Corcoran Real Estate Agency based out of New York City to someone named Leon Black back in 2001? Yes, that's true, but there's one clarification. In 2001, she sold a real estate brokerage, which was based in for about $66 million. That's right, because she took that, I believe she took that $66 million and set it in some sort of fund or something, and she just let it like build. I also find the number 66 interesting. However, she did not sell it directly to Leon Black, which I believe is what you said. She sold it to NRT. The buyer was NRT Incorporated. Okay, you're right. You're right. That's interesting. Okay, fair enough. Appreciate that correction. We don't want to implicate anybody that don't deserve it. Erica, thank you so much for the follow to chat. Erica is victim of Project Monarch from birth. She obviously has DID, which is, for those that don't know, is dissociation disorder. Her mom was her first handler. Then it was that lady with the short blonde hair. Yeah. I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that at all. Thank you for the follow super chat. Any model that's over 18 knows exactly what the deal is. They trade their looks for fame. If it's under 18, it's purely demonic. I agree. But I even think the 18 thing is, I mean, maybe that's a conversation for another day. Who got to decide what that number is? You ask me, maybe it should be older than that, but I get it. I get it. Some countries it's younger than that. So I don't want to get, we on YouTube. I don't want to get too, that gets tricky. But I definitely agree with your sentiment. I do get your point. Thank you for the super chat. Candace Owens said Charlie often asked her questions about girls. Maybe after she left, he asked others for advice, but they also pulled the wool over his eyes. I considered that. But you also have common sense. And Charlie was very intellectual. Being an intellectual does not mean that you're able to figure out all things of all genres and aspects of life. Nah, you're going to have your blind spots and your weaknesses and the things you're just not sure about, things you're just not good at, things you have to learn. I'm with you. I got you. I don't think that applies here. You to be married for years, man, and you don't know any of this. Tyler Boyer allegedly is the person responsible for hiring all these people, and these, no. I think he knew something, and maybe he did find out at the end. I don't know. Holy Fire Luna, thank you for the $10 super chat. I just heard an audio file from the Files of a Woman speaking to a decoy with feds about working for Jeffrey. In the files, it sounds like Erica Kirk. Just listen to it. Where's the audio file at? What is EFT A00276490 mean? I don't. Somebody got to put me on, man. What do I go to listen to this? I actually think I caught your comment earlier. Huh? Yeah. Let me know, and maybe I can listen to it right now in real time. Thank you for the $20 super chat. Am I out of bounds to say Erica should not be allowed around any children under 18? This lady has been run through by the industry and has been recruited since she was 17. Thanks for platforming one of my favorite comedians, George Carlin. Thank you for the super chat. No, I don't think that's out of bounds. I mean, you're entitled to your own opinion for sure. I would totally understand, especially after the grooming the 15-year-old thing. Like, y'all, is all this stuff that we figured out about this person, man. This is not us being bullies. This is not us being insensitive. That's not what's happening here. I'm far from a bully. We're looking at inconsistencies following the potential pow-powing of somebody. Right? Yeah. And has been recruited since she was 17. Something was going on. 17 years old in Romania. I was just graduating high school. I didn't know how to run an organization. None of that. I get that everybody's life is different and you can be taught those things, but I don't even know if I would want to do that. At 17, bro, I'm still trying to figure out life. I'm not going to some other I don't even know my country well enough. What, I'm going to go to another country and no, I would be scared to do that. That's weird. Weird. So, yeah. But as far as that audio file, somebody send it to me. ddmotivates@gmail. ddmotivates@gmail. Send that over to me, man, for sure. Back then, especially, girls had no clue what was going to happen. Many young girls are naive and trusting. That's true. That's true. No need to explain yourself or anything you're doing on your own channel, Didi. Nah, you're right. You're right. I still just like to, but nah, I definitely understand what you're saying. Thank you for the super chat, big time. Hey Didi, why do you think we haven't heard much from Charlie's family's perspective? It all seems to be one perspective. Should I answer that? The responsible answer would be, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, man. I wonder if Candace has thought that too. I'll tell you what I was thinking early on, because I've already addressed this question before. Why would you address your son? Why would you address the assassination of your son if your son wasn't, or if he was truly, maybe you don't address it because you're afraid, right? Maybe you know what your son was. Those text messages that I shared at the beginning, that Candace, between Charlie and Candace, I think was more revealing about Charlie than anything else. Not in a good way. Y'all know I'm gonna keep it real with you. To me, that showed me that Charlie knew that he was on the side of evil. He knew what that foreign nation had done and was doing was wrong. And he went an extended period of time and didn't speak out against them. He stood with them. He know that certain groups of people own certain industries in this country. It's just a fact. To his credit, he shared it towards the end. He talked about who was funding all of the PORN industry, liquor stores, Hollywood. It's all over the place. Towards the end, he said something about it. I don't know how he didn't know that before. Same with all this stuff about Erica. Like, how did he not know some of this stuff before? You don't have to know all of it. Fine. How don't you know some of this stuff? You said, well, maybe he did. No, because if you did, how do you continue forward? There's some major misalignments here. You know? But I'm going on a rant. Real Base, thank you for the $20 super chat, man. Clinton's 97 Bucharest deal, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, led to Erica's mom. Greg Laurie, Epstein, and others to open NGOs in Romania. Oh, I see what you're saying. No, you're right. I sent this to Baron and Candace over a month ago. They dismissed it. Heard you been getting suppressed too. Don't stop. Yeah, man, I definitely been getting suppressed. You know, all I can do is just keep going. My lives have been performing a little bit better, but my videos, like over the past few weeks, I feel like somebody at Google got word of my channel and pressed a button and said, let's go ahead and take his 5,000 concurrent viewers and let's knock 3,000 of them off. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to not notify them. We're going to unsubscribe people, which reminds me, please make sure you're still subscribed. Please make sure you hit the notification bell right under the video, right next to the subscribe button. So that way you can be notified. But in some cases, YouTube has a way where it still won't notify people. Yes, I've seen a lot of you all's DMs and emails saying that you're not being notified. You haven't seen my videos in weeks. I'm aware the views are showing that the data is reflecting that. What do? For the record, my somebody just sent me the potential Erica Kirk audio. I don't want to play it from my phone, so maybe tomorrow. But my form of suppression is different from other channels. Like other channels can get suppressed, and I mean, they're still pulling in 10, 15,000 times the numbers. You know, I don't know what to do different. But let me, why do I feel like I already covered this though? Bucharest deal. I feel like Brian, the auditor, may have talked about this. Somebody talked about this. Or maybe it was Kelvin. For those of you that's really been rocking with me for a few months, you'll remember Kelvin. Maybe Kelvin talked about this deal. We had a conversation about this. I'm looking to that. Sent you the email. Heck yeah. Okay. I definitely got it. Okay. Yeah, and I don't know what's what in it, so I could get this video flagged. So let me look it over. Maybe we can go live tomorrow and talk about this audio when I cover the other stuff about the video Candace shared. But yeah. All right, y'all. I'm hungry. I'm going to go eat something. Give me your thoughts as always in the comment section. I want to know what y'all think about this. Is there something that I missed? Was there something else I could have threw in there? So far, people connected to Erica Kirk that all knew Jeffrey Epstein very well. So I don't think that's a coincidence. I'm going to catch y'all in the next one, man. I love y'all as always. I'm Demetrius. Be safe, though. Have a great weekend. Be safe tonight. I'm Demetrius. I'll go by Didi. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace. Oh, yeah. Didi got a pie.
Attitudes and our work ethic become very important in realizing our goals and opening up possibilities. I had lunch a couple of weeks ago with a recent graduate at UCA. And his story is really fascinating. It's one of overcoming homelessness during his time pursuing his degree, first at a community college here in Arkansas and then finishing his bachelor's degree here at UCA. His narrative ranges from estrangement from family for many years to a hopeful reunion with mother and siblings. His record is one of overcoming odds in a way that I probably could not, and certainly demonstrating levels of tenacity and patience and optimism that I can only marvel at. He wanted to talk with me about his new job and his career path going forward. I really need to be there to learn from him because that's where the real value was.
Everything I say in this video is alleged. Allegedly. No such thing as a life that is better than yours. Doctor, just repeat after me. I really appreciate it. Alright. No such thing. Come on, you do better than that. Talk to it. Talk to it. Alright, let's start going. No such thing as a life that's better than yours. You're worse than the rich white people who are, or the rich white Jews that own these record labels, because they don't even understand these populations. You have a lot closer relationship to these people, and you're leading them to hellfire. You are leading them in the wrong direction in the name of getting rich and famous. How dare you? Oh yeah, Didi got a podcast.